Yo, Hoop fans! Your sideline sage, Tips and Streams, is lacing up once again. On deck, deep dives into the freshest NBA clashes, ready to set the planks ablaze. But before we jump the ball, be sure to hammer that subscribe on our YouTube channel to keep hooked with our sharp forecasts and prime selections. All right, let's bounce into today's NBA Crystal Ball reads.
The first prediction is for the matchup between Washington Wizards and Charlotte Hornets. The Washington Wizards are heading into this game with a 4-game losing streak, sitting at a 1-5 record for the season. They're looking to turn the tide against the Charlotte Hornets, who are currently 2-4. The Hornets have a home court advantage, which could be a significant factor in this game. Kyle Kuzma has been leading the charge for the Wizards as their top scorer and rebounder, but the team's inability to dominate the glass has been a significant issue. On the other hand, the Hornets have shown they can keep up in a shootout, with a scoring average almost neck and neck with Washington at 116 points per game to the Wizards' 117. The Hornets could edge out Washington on the defensive end, as they are allowing a slightly lower field goal percentage, 48.3%, compared to what the Wizards have been allowing. The total is tipped to go over when the Washington Wizards and Charlotte Hornets clash, with the Wizards ranking 7th in scoring, pouring in 117 points per game, and a field goal percentage that is 6th in the league at 48.6%. Given these factors, the prediction is that the Charlotte Hornets will defend their home floor and come out on top. Play Charlotte Hornets minus 2.5. The next prediction is for the match between the Utah Jazz and Indiana Pacers. The Utah Jazz are jazzing into Indiana with a tune that's been a bit off-key lately. Dropping their last 3, they're giving up points like it's a charity drive, with opponents averaging 122.7 points over those games. Yet, Lauri Markkanen is stepping up big, leading the charge with 24 points per game, but he'll need more than a solo act to face the Pacers' symphony of scorers. The Indiana Pacers, on the flip side, are putting up numbers that make a scoreboard blush. Leading the league with a chart-topping 124.9 PPG, they're not just beating teams, they're rewriting the music sheets. Tyrese Halliburton's conducting an offense that's more fluid than a no-look pass, averaging a double-double that's as sweet as a game-winning buzzer beater. Last season, Utah's dominance over Indiana was as clear as a backboard swish, sweeping the series with a scoring clinic. However, this season's Pacers are a different beast, and their offensive roar is echoing through the league. Yet their defensive slips might just give the Jazz the opening they need. With both teams playing defense like it's a suggestion rather than a rule, expect a score fest that'll have the Nets working overtime. The Jazz may be underdogs, but they've got the rhythm to keep up with Indiana's pace. I'm taking the Jazz to stay within range, if not steal the show. Play Utah Jazz plus 6.5. The next prediction is for the match between the Boston Celtics and Philadelphia 76ers. The Boston Celtics and the Philadelphia 76ers are both coming into this game with a strong 5-1 record. The Celtics, however, are looking to bounce back from a recent 114-109 overtime loss to the Minnesota Timberwolves. On the other hand, the 76ers are riding a 5-game winning streak, with their latest victory being a 146-128 win over the Washington Wizards. The Celtics have been led by Jason Tatum, who is averaging 29.7 points, 8.3 rebounds, and 4.0 assists per game. They'll be facing a 76ers team that has been performing well on both ends of the court, ranking 3rd in offensive rating and 5th in three-point efficiency. The 76ers, meanwhile, have been getting significant contributions from their entire roster, with 5 players averaging double digits in points. The Celtics will need to find a way to contain this balanced attack if they want to secure a victory. Considering the 76ers' recent momentum and strong offensive performance, the prediction is that the Philadelphia 76ers will cover the 2.5-point spread and probably secure one more home victory. Play Philadelphia 76ers plus 2.5. The next prediction is for the match between the Los Angeles Clippers and Brooklyn Nets. In the electrifying atmosphere of Barclays Center, the Brooklyn Nets are ready to take on the Los Angeles Clippers in a game that's guaranteed to have fans on the edge of their seats. The Clippers, coming off a tough loss against the Knicks, are looking to bounce back with the addition of James Harden to their already star-studded lineup. However, they will need to tighten their defense as they're giving up points faster than a leaky faucet. On the flip side, the Nets have been a roller coaster this season, but Cam Thomas is firing on all cylinders, showing that he's more than just a flash in the pan. Despite resting Ben Simmons in their last outing, the Nets are expected to unleash him against the Clippers. Although the Nets are without Nick Claxton, Dorian Finney-Smith is no slouch and will hold down the fort at the center. The Clippers are formidable defensively, but the Nets are at home and have the momentum from their young guns. It'll be a clash of titans, but expect the Nets to cover the spread with their young core stepping up to challenge the Clippers veterans. Harden might find himself in a pickle as the Nets' defense, fueled by the energy of the home crowd, looks to stifle the Clippers' attack. It's going to be a nail-biter, but the Nets' hunger might just overshadow the Clippers' experience. Play the Brooklyn Nets to cover the spread. The next prediction is for the match between the San Antonio Spurs and New York Knicks. The San Antonio Spurs are hitting the hardwood with a 3-4 tally in the win-loss column, licking their wounds from a drubbing at the hands of the Indiana Pacers. They're gearing up for a rebound play against the New York Knicks, who are sitting at an identical 3-4 but are riding high off a dominant 111-97 win over the Los Angeles Clippers. The Knicks are tipped to school the Spurs by a 9-point margin in this face-off. The Spurs squad is rallying behind Keldon Johnson, who's been racking up a solid 14.0 PPG, grabbing 6 boards, and dishing out 4 assists on the regular. But they're hitting the court without Vassell and are up against the Knicks' brick wall defense that's locked down the second spot in the league, holding teams to just 102.4 PPG. The Knicks' scoring machine has been stuttering, ranking 29th with a 104.4 PPG, but their recent rout of the Clippers might just be the spark they needed. Meanwhile, the Knicks' game plan revolves around the firepower of Jalen Brunson, Quentin Grimes, RJ Barrett, Julius Randle, and Mitchell Robinson. The Spurs will have to put up a defensive masterclass to shut down this high-octane lineup and snag a win against the odds. With the Knicks' defense looking like a no-fly zone and their momentum from the last game, the smart money on the New York squad to cover the 9-point spread and lock down a W in their home court. Take the Knicks to beat the spread and come out on top. Play New York Knicks -9. The next prediction is for the match between the Phoenix Suns and Chicago Bulls. The Phoenix Suns are gearing up to clash with the Chicago Bulls at the United Center. The Suns, currently locked in the 9th slot in the Western Conference with a 3-4 record, are coming hot off a 120-106 road win against the Detroit Pistons. Meanwhile, the Bulls are placed 12th in the Eastern Conference standings with a 3-6 record, fresh from a 130-113 home court triumph over the Utah Jazz. The Suns have been lighting up the scoreboard, pouring in an average of 113.7 points in their recent trio of contests. The Bulls are on their heels, netting an average of 110.8 points in their latest quartet of matchups. On the defensive end, the Suns boast a sharper claw with a 109.6 defensive rating, good for 10th in the league, while the Bulls are lagging at 23rd, letting through 114.9 points per 100 possessions. After a brief respite and a scorching showcase from Durant, the Suns could soar with the addition of Beal to their ranks, posing some serious matchup headaches for the Bulls' defense. The Suns' knack for swatting shots, second in the league, might just stymie the Bulls' assaults on the basket. The Bulls, on the flip side, could see their defense fortified with Caruso and Williams hitting the floor again. They're snagging the top spot for pilfering opponent possessions and keeping their own turnovers at a league-best 11.6 per game. Eyeing up the current momentum and stats, the Suns are looking sharp. But the Bulls, potentially back to full strength and backed by their home crowd, could flip the script. It's shaping up to be a nail-biter, but I'm banking on the Bulls to come out on top and beat the spread. Play Chicago Bulls -1. The next prediction is for the match between the Los Angeles Lakers and Houston Rockets. The Lakers are rolling into Houston with the kind of uncertainty that could make any oddsmaker twitch. LeBron is still king of the court, but without AD suiting up, the Lakers' interior is looking as vulnerable as a house of cards in a Texas tornado. They've been on the road more than a country music star, and it shows in their lackluster 0-8 SU away game record. The Rockets, on the other hand, have been lighting up like a 4th of July sky. Sengun's nearly hitting triple-doubles like he's swiping right on a dating app, and Jalen Green's shooting is smoother than a whiskey on the rocks. Houston's at .500, showing more promise than a politician in November, and with a 6-3 SU in their last 9, they're proving to be more than just underdogs with bite. The Lakers have had the Rockets' number historically, but those stats are as dusty as an old pair of boots. The Lakers are struggling to cover, and with a 2-7 ATS in their last 9, betting on them feels like throwing darts blindfolded. So, with the Lakers potentially Davis-less and the Rockets guns blazing, I'm tipping my hat to Houston. Play Houston Rockets plus 3.5. The next prediction is for the match between the Miami Heat and Memphis Grizzlies. The Miami Heat are hitting the court with a 3-4 slate, riding the momentum of back-to-back W's against the Wizards and the Lakers. They're fired up to keep the win column growing as they square off with the Memphis Grizzlies. The Grizzlies, on the flip side, are in a bit of a grind with a 1-6 record, desperate to put the brakes on a 3-game skid on their home turf. The Heat's dynamic duo, Bam Adebayo and Tyler Herro, are heating up the hardwood. Herro's torching the Nets for 25.3 points and snagging 5.6 boards a game. For the Grizzlies, Desmond Bane is the man on a mission, dropping 24 points a night. But defense is the chink in the Grizzlies' armor, dead last in the league at guarding the arc, with opponents firing off threes at will. The Heat, in contrast, are almost clairvoyant at the charity stripe, letting rivals sink only a second best in the league percentage of freebies. All signs point to the Heat bringing the sizzle in this showdown, with the Grizzlies' defensive woes and the Heat's hot streak. The smart bet on the Heat to cover the spread and chalk up another in the win column. Roll with the... The next prediction is for the match between Detroit Pistons and Milwaukee Bucks. The Motor City squad is rolling into the Bucks' den with a bit of a limp, sporting a 0-5 against the spread in their last 5 outings, and struggling to find their groove on the road with a 2-17 straight up in their last 19 away games. The Pistons are hoping to tune up their performance, but they've been on a skid against Milwaukee, dropping the ball both SU and ATS in recent matchups. The Bucks, on the hunt and playing the favorite, have been banking Bucks in the win column at home against Detroit, with a dominant 14-1 SU in their last 15 home games against the Motor City Ballers. But here's where it gets crunchy. The Deer have been less than stellar at covering the spread lately, with a 1-8 ATS in their last 9 games, and only 2-9 ATS in their last 11 as the favorite. The scorekeepers might be busy, as the over has been a frequent flyer in both teams' recent games, with Detroit's last 6 and Milwaukee's last 13 mostly soaring over the total points line. Now, let's talk turkey with the player prop bets. Cade Cunningham is expected to drop 24 points, haul in 6 rebounds, and dish out 8 assists, while the Bucks' Damian Lillard is projected to light up with 32 points, 5 boards, and 7 assists. Injuries could play spoiler, though. The Pistons have a laundry list with the likes of Alec Burks and Jaden Ivey marked out, while the Bucks will rest Chris Middleton for the night. So, the smart play, given the current form of both teams, the Bucks are likely to extend their winning streak here. The Pistons' struggles, particularly on offense, will likely continue against the Bucks' strong team. However, the Bucks' shaky defense might allow the Pistons to keep the game closer than expected. Play Milwaukee Bucks to win, but Detroit Pistons to cover the spread plus 11.5. The next prediction is for the match between New Orleans Pelicans and Minnesota Timberwolves. It's a rumble in the Timberland as the New Orleans Pelicans swoop into the north to face the Minnesota Timberwolves at the Target Center. The Wolves are howling as the 7.5-point favorites and are looking to keep their claws sharp in their 4-game home winning streak. The Timberwolves are prowling, with a win probability sitting pretty at 55% and a cover rate that's been as solid as their home court, going 4-1 ATS in their last 5 games. Anthony Edwards is flying high, averaging 25.3 points and looking to add to his tally against the Pelicans. The Pels, though, have been flapping their wings less frequently against the spread when facing the Timberwolves, with a 1-4 ATS in their last 5 encounters. Injuries might tip the scale as CJ McCollum is out with a lung issue, leaving a gap in the Pelicans' flight formation. With the totals tending to duck under in recent games for both teams, and the Wolves' den proving to be a tough hunting ground for the Pelicans, the smart money's on Minnesota to win, but expect the Pelicans to give a fight that could keep the game closer than the spread suggests. Play Minnesota Timberwolves minus 7.5 and consider the under for total points. The next prediction is for the match between Cleveland Cavaliers and Oklahoma City Thunder. The Cleveland Cavaliers are trotting into the Thunder's domain with a bit of a cloud overhead, showing a 2-8 record against the spread in their last 10, and struggling to make it rain with a 3-7 straight up in their last 10 games. They're looking to strike with a win to even out their record, but the forecast shows a potential storm, with Oklahoma City Thunder bringing the noise, especially at home, where they've been more solid than a slam dunk with a 5-2 record against the spread this season. The Thunder rumble into this matchup as slight 2.5-point underdogs, but don't let the numbers fool you. They've already proven they can unleash a whirlwind against the Cavs, snatching a victory on the road just over a week ago. With the Cavs showing some offensive wobbles and the Thunder poised for a breakout home game, it might just be time for OKC to ride the Lightning. Taking into account the Thunder's ATS performance and the Cavaliers' recent road woes, the smart money might be on the Thunder to cover the spread. With both teams often ducking under the total points line this season, playing the under might also be a savvy move. So, batten down the hatches and play Oklahoma City Thunder plus 2.5. The next prediction is for the match between Toronto Raptors and Dallas Mavericks. Scotty Barnes is soaring high after a monster game against the Spurs, but it's their free throw shooting that's been more off target than a blindfolded three-pointer. If they want to keep up with the Mavs, they'll need to turn that defense into fast break gold. Dallas, sitting pretty at 6-1, is cruising like a classic car on a Sunday drive. With Luka Doncic in MVP mode and Kyrie's double-doubles, they're not just winning, they're putting on a clinic. Their offense is smoother than a jazz tune, ranking 3rd in offensive rating and 5th in points per game. The Mavs are turning the American Airlines Center into a no-fly zone for opponents, undefeated at home and dropping points like they're hot. Against the Raptors' tough D, they'll need to be slicker than a crossover dribble to keep that streak alive. Looking at the trends, the Raptors might have the upper hand in the ATS game, but with the Mavericks' firepower and the Raptors' offensive woes, it's like comparing a three-point swish to a layup. One just has more flair. So, with the Mavericks' high-octane offense and the Raptors struggling to find the net, I'm betting on Dallas to cover the hardwood. Play Dallas Mavericks 5.5. The next prediction is for the match between Golden State Warriors and Denver Nuggets. Tonight's clash between the Golden State Warriors and the Denver Nuggets is set to be a nail-biter. The Nuggets are entering the game as 3.5-point home favorites, but the Warriors are not to be underestimated. The Nuggets have been on a roll, aiming for their 4th consecutive win over Golden State. However, the absence of Jamal Murray could be a significant factor in this matchup. The Warriors, on the other hand, are healthy and ready to rumble, seeking revenge after going 0-3 against Denver in the previous season. They are coming off a win against the Detroit Pistons, bouncing back from a defeat at the hands of the Cleveland Cavaliers. The Warriors' key players, Klay Thompson and Draymond Green, are expected to make significant contributions, with prop bets favoring Thompson to score over 15.5 points and Green to achieve over 13.5 points and rebounds. The Nuggets have a strong defense, particularly against three-point attempts, which could pose a challenge for the Warriors. However, the Nuggets will miss Murray's defense in the backcourt, which could give the Warriors an edge. Given the current form and stats of both teams, this game is likely to be a close one. However, considering the Warriors' determination to avenge their previous losses and the Nuggets' missing key player, I predict the Warriors will keep it close and cover. Play Golden State Warriors plus 3.5. The last prediction for today is for the match between Portland Trail Blazers and Sacramento Kings. The Portland Trail Blazers are rolling into the Kings' court with their blades a little dulled, ranking last in the NBA with an average of just 104.3 ppg. With injuries piling up like a bad day at practice, they're looking more like underdogs than Trailblazers. Portland's defense has been their saving grace, but they're going to need more than grace to turn the tides. Sacramento Kings, while not exactly royal in their performances, are looking to capitalize on their home court. The Kings' offense has shown some sparks and could ignite against Portland's lackluster scoring. De'Aaron Fox's potential return could be the catalyst Sacramento needs to push the pace. The head-to-head has been a tug-of-war, with Portland clinching a few victories in Sacramento, but the Kings have the edge this time with Portland's offensive woes. The Blazers might have had the Kings' number in the past, but with their current state, it's looking like a number that's been disconnected. It's a high line, but with the Kings poised to get back on track and the Blazers struggling to light up the scoreboard, I'm calling this one a royal flush for Sacramento. The Kings should take this, but the spread is a kingdom too far. Expect points to rain like a November downpour. Play the Trail Blazers and Kings over 220.5.
All right, basketball fans, that's the final horn for today's forecasts. A huge thank you for joining our team. If you're in tune with our selections, hit that subscribe button and become part of our squad. See you on the hardwood tomorrow. Farewell.